Welcome back, my friends. The news today is that Amazon Web Services is slow to develop artificial intelligence. Amazon cloud boss Matt Garman inherits business under pressure to keep pace in AI. Adam Selipsky's departure from Amazon Web Services, announced last week, comes as the cloud unit faces heightened competition from companies rolling out artificial intelligence services. Gil Luria, an analyst at D.A. Davidson, told CNBC that Amazon was caught flat-footed by the generative AI boom. Matt Garman, an AWS veteran, was named Selipsky's successor last week. So where does that leave Amazon? But before we get into all of that, I would like to thank everyone who views my videos. If you would like to support the channel, please see the link to buy me a coffee in the video description below. And please hit the like button and leave me a comment below. I would love to hear from you. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you are notified of upcoming videos when they are released. In May 2023, Amazon CEO Andy Jassy was asked by an attendee at the annual shareholder meeting how the company was innovating in generative artificial intelligence. OpenAI's ChatGPT had gone viral, and the major tech companies were all rushing products out the door to compete in the emerging world of chatbots and image generators. Jassy responded to the question by touting Amazon Web Services, the cloud unit he'd helped launch 17 years earlier, eventually turning it into the company's main profit engine. AWS, under the leadership of Adam Selipsky, was developing its own AI products, Jassy said, and had the potential to provide critical infrastructure for other companies developing AI services. It's very early days in generative AI, said Jassy, who succeeded Jeff Bezos as CEO in 2021. It's very high potential and we're investing quite a bit in it and expect to be a leader. For Selipsky, who took over AWS when Jassy was promoted, the days got late quickly. In the most significant shakeup of Jassy's tenure at the helm, Amazon announced last week that Selipsky, 57, was exiting AWS and will be succeeded by Matt Garman, 48, a veteran AWS executive who most recently led sales and marketing. The problem for Selipsky, and the challenge for Garman, is that Amazon has yet to emerge as a leader in generative AI despite throwing billions of dollars behind OpenAI competitor Anthropic and rolling out its own large language models, or LLMs. In the developer universe and among startups, the company is battling the perception that it's falling behind cloud rivals Microsoft and Google, in addition to lagging OpenAI in developing AI tools. After years of rapid expansion, growth at AWS decelerated to 13% in 2023, down from 37% in 2021 and 29% in 2022, reflecting more conservative spending by businesses on IT and cloud services. Amazon has downsized across the board, including at least 2 rounds of layoffs at AWS since last year. AWS remains the leader in cloud infrastructure, but Microsoft is quickly closing the gap. AWS market share slipped to 31% in the first quarter of this year, from 32% 3 years earlier, while Microsoft Azure jumped to 25% of the market from 19% in 2021. According to Canalys, Google is also picking up share, accounting for 10% of the market, up from 7% in early 2021. In the past few quarters, Microsoft has cited surging demand for AI tools as a catalyst for its momentum. Gil Luria, an analyst at D.A. Davidson, told CNBC that Amazon was caught flat-footed by the generative AI boom. It allowed Microsoft Azure to run laps around them, which should not have happened. And ultimately there was a price to pay for that, Luria said, referring to Selipsky's departure. Garman's selection for the top job indicates Mr. Jassy and perhaps Mr. Bezos believe he's the person most likely to help Amazon close the lead and maybe establish a lead of their own, said Luria, who recommends buying Amazon shares. A source close to Amazon, who asked not to be named because they weren't authorized to speak on the matter, described Garman to CNBC as a wartime leader and said change was needed to get more aggressive in AI. The growth, innovation, and profitability of AWS over the past 3 years speaks for itself, with AWS producing more absolute dollar growth quarter over quarter by our numbers so far this year than any other cloud provider, McGee said. He said AWS is leading in security and reliability, as well as the overall breadth and depth of our services. Last week, OpenAI introduced GPT-4o, a faster model with improved capabilities in text, video, and audio. Google followed a day later at its developer conference, rolling out the company's lightest and most efficient AI models. And this week, Microsoft announced new computers with advanced chips designed to run AI features in Windows. During a Q&A session on Wednesday, Jassy was asked twice about the status of Amazon's generative AI efforts. He said the company is seeing a lot of momentum in generative AI within AWS to where it's now a multi-billion-dollar business based on annualized revenue. Amazon has previously said it intends to use generative AI to make Alexa more conversational. Reports emerged on Wednesday that Amazon plans to charge a subscription fee for the more powerful version. But inflation has started to rapidly pick up, leading to a steady rise in interest rates and forcing businesses into capital preservation mode. At the same time, ChatGPT entered the picture and then everything changed. OpenAI, backed by Microsoft, released the chatbot in November 2022 and watched it go viral. Months later, Microsoft invested billions more into OpenAI and became its exclusive cloud partner, giving Amazon's chief cloud rival a new competitive edge. Over the course of the past year, Jassy has gushed about Amazon's opportunities in generative AI, both for offering automated services to advertisers and sellers, and in providing technology within AWS for running sophisticated models and workloads. I don't know if any of us has seen a possibility like this in technology in a really long time. For sure since the cloud, perhaps since the internet, Jassy said on the company's first quarter earnings call in April, speaking about generative AI. But realizing that opportunity is proving to be a major hurdle. Amazon plans to give Alexa an AI overhaul. AWS took months to come out with an AI model that could go up against ChatGPT. The company is now offering its own LLMs as well as those from third parties, including one from Anthropic, which Amazon backed. Last year, Amazon released Q, a chatbot for businesses. An AWS employee who used Q told CNBC that it felt underwhelming because the chatbot would respond to queries with information that wasn't particularly relevant or valuable. AWS said its Q chatbot has been gaining traction among a range of customers including Accenture, Toyota, GoDaddy, and GitLab. Despite all of its AI challenges, Wall Street continues to rally around Amazon, which last month reported better than expected first quarter results and a more than 200% increase in operating income. Sales at AWS rose 17%, a modest acceleration from the past few quarters. Amazon shares are up 21% this year, topping the 12% gain in the Nasdaq, after jumping 81% in 2023. The stock hit a record earlier this month. Amazon reported better than expected earnings and revenue for the first quarter, driven by growth in advertising and cloud computing. The stock ticked higher in extended trading. Here's how the company did. 1. Earnings per share. 98 cents versus 83 cents expected by LSEG. 2. Revenue $143.3 billion versus $142.5 billion expected by LSEG. Wall Street is also looking at these key numbers. 1. Amazon Web Services, $25 billion versus $24.5 billion in revenue, according to StreetAccount. 2. Advertising, $11.8 billion versus $11.7 billion in revenue, according to StreetAccount. Operating income soared more than 200% in the period, to $15.3 billion, or far outpacing revenue growth. The latest sign that the company's cost-cutting measures and focus on efficiency is bolstering its bottom line. AWS accounted for 62% of total operating profit. Net income also more than tripled to $10.4 billion or 98 cents a share, from $317 billion or 31 cents a share a year ago. Sales increased 13% from $127.4 billion a year earlier. Amazon expects a continued jump in profitability for the second quarter, but at a more measured pace. The company said operating income will be $10 billion to $14 billion, up from $7.7 billion a year earlier. Revenue in the current quarter is expected to be in the $144 billion to $149 billion range, Amazon said, representing growth of 7% to 11%. Analysts were expecting growth of 12% to $150 billion, according to LSEG. Sales at AWS accelerated 17% in the first quarter to $25 billion, topping Wall Street's forecast for sales growth of 12% to $24.5 billion. For the past year, growth in AWS has slowed, as businesses trimmed their cloud spend. But Amazon executives have said they're seeing cost optimizations taper off, and they've indicated that demand for generative artificial intelligence can be a boon for its cloud business. Jamie Myers, a senior investment analyst at Laffer Tengler Investments, which owns shares of Amazon, said he views the leadership transition at AWS as a natural progression, adding that Garmin has always been looked at as a successor. But what do you think? Please hit the like button and leave us a comment below. We would love to hear from you. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you are notified of upcoming videos when they are released. Please share this video on social media. And before we end, a word from the sponsor of this video. Today's sponsor is ProWorldNet.com. ProWorldNet.com is a job website specifically dedicated to licensed professions. Doctors, including any type of specialty. Nurses, and that includes all grades of nurses. Lawyers, regardless of area of legal focus. Teachers and professors, from kindergarten through graduate school, as well as any kind of job that requires the government license or certification. And ProWorldNet.com also includes short-term gig-type jobs as well. So be sure to check out ProWorldNet.com if you are looking for a job or an employee. Thank you for watching.